Hi, everybody, and I'm Stuart Schlossman, and we're going to start. This is an MS Conversations Now program. It's called MS Patients' Voices. It's part of our series that we started at the beginning of the pandemic, where I get online every month and I interview a multiple sclerosis patient who is doing things for the multiple sclerosis community. Sometimes people can see it blatantly, and other times people just don't know. So we wanted to let everybody know about this. And for those that don't know, yes, I'm Stuart Schlossman, and I am truly behind the camera tonight because you cannot see me because I'm having video issues. And so we're just going to look at Emily. You're going to hear my voice, and Emily will be answering. All right. So tonight's program, this is sponsored by MS Views and News, and our guest speaker is Emily Blossberg. She's the founder and executive director of Mr. Oscar Monkey, which is a pediatric MS organization. And, they are finding ways to help others, young people, to learn whatever they can about multiple sclerosis while also enjoying life. So we're going to speak with Emily. Hey, Emily, how are you? God, I'm so feeling so bad that you can't see me, okay?
Well, it's good to hear your voice again.
Well, thank you very much. So firstly, Emily, you have MS. Tell us about yourself, because I didn't have a bio on you. So, just tell me whatever you want to tell me about you, and then we'll go forward.
Well, I'm 25 years old. My dad was diagnosed with MS when I was 2 years old. So I've grown up in the MS community, volunteered my entire life. My dad taught me and my sister about MS. We were reading MRI scans from a very young age. He was showing us where the ugly buglies were in Dad's head on the MRI scans. But then I was diagnosed with MS when I was 15 years old. And it initially was a very lonely diagnosis, but I found a way to find the light in my MS, which is what we're talking about tonight.
Very true. Thank you. Hey, can you do me a favor? People want to see Oscar. Can you hold Oscar up a moment?
This is Oscar.
There you go. You should put Oscar up on your shoulder.
He might be a little too tall for that.
No, wait. Great. Okay, cool. All right. So your dad was diagnosed, you were diagnosed, and can you tell us what else you're doing, what you have been doing, to get involved with the MS community?
It all started with volunteering with the MS Society. From the day that I could hold a pom-pom in my hand and wave it up the finish line, I was cheering bikers in or walkers in as they crossed the finish line. But then when I was diagnosed, it became much more personable. Not that having a parent with MS isn't personal, but I was facing the diagnosis myself. And I reached out to the MS Society and I asked them, could you please connect me with all of the other teenagers in the area that have MS? And they said, we'd love to, but we don't know of anyone else. Wow. I said, well, that's just strange. There has to be other teenagers out there. I can't be the only one. It was about a year later. So I was 16 and I found, through the help of the MS Society, I found someone who lives about 5 hours of a drive away from where I live. And we connected, and it was such a powerful thing to have that connection with someone else that completely understood what it was like being a teenager with MS. And I wanted to help create that for people too.
Great. Okay. Thank you for that. And so by the way, I used to get involved with the walks. You know that I have MS. So I was doing the walks. In fact, I was the chair of the Miami MS Walk, called the Coral Gables MS Walk. I did that for 5 years. I chaired that event. And I also chaired the Fort Lauderdale MS Walk 2 of those 5 years. So during 2 of those 5 years, I was chairing 2 walk sites, big walk sites. So, plus we had our own walk team as well. And we raised a good amount of money for the MS Society at that time.
That's great.
Yeah, it was great. It was a cool thing. So
my sister and I were often on some of the marketing material in our area because we were kids. We were cute. We could bring in a little extra funding for the society. So they used us a lot.
I'm sure that's really cool. So for everybody that can't see me, I was smiling as she was talking about that. Isn't that funny to say? So, so,
I can
so,
imagine it.
yeah. So, all right. So we're going to go back and forth with these different things. All right. And, can you tell us how you got started though with Oscar? I mean, where did Oscar come from in all of this?
So I have always loved knitting. I learned how to knit when I was 6 years old. I made my first sweater when I was 7. And I was knitting all the time in class. Like the teachers, they just had to be okay with me knitting. I was still paying attention. I never missed any information, but I had to keep my hands busy. When my symptoms started when I was 14 years old, the yarn was so painful on my skin because my nerves were affected by whatever was going on in my brain. And so I had to stop knitting because it was hurting too much. But a friend of mine showed me how to make sock monkeys. So I started making these sock monkeys, and then I started selling them as a fundraiser for the MS Society. And then I was walking through a hunting department of a nearby store, and I saw this orange pair of socks. I was like, I haven't made a monkey for myself in a long time. I should make one for myself. And that's when I made Oscar, and he was just supposed to be a stuffed animal for myself. But then I started bringing him to different MS Society events as a way of telling my story. I used to knit. Now I make these sock monkeys because of my MS. And that's kind of where it took off. I'll tell you a kind of a funny story about the name Oscar. So I name all of our sock monkeys that I make. I've made over 600 of them now in the last 10 years. Yeah. And they all have their own name. And sometimes I make them, or as I'm making them, I look at them like, that's what this monkey's name is, Susan, or whatever. And sometimes I take the sock monkey out to the living room where my parents and my siblings are sitting, and I say, what's this one's name? And they'll just shout out names. I'm like, yep, that's the name. So I remember that I walked out to the living room and said, this is Oscar. My dad remembers that I walked out to the living room and said, what's its name? And he said, that's Oscar. So we don't really know who named Oscar.
That's cool. That's cool. I was going to ask where you found the name Oscar from, but I could see there's already a lot of confusion as to where it came from. All right. So, by the way, there were people that signed in a little bit late. I want to let them know that I am Stuart Schlossman, and I am having video problems, and I'm working remotely today. So that is the reason why you cannot see me. Well, you do see me, but it's only in a picture, all right? But you will hear my voice, and I'm trying to keep this all in line and do it as professionally as we can tonight, because that's what we do. All right. So our guest here tonight is Emily Blossberg, and she is the founder and executive director of the Mr. Oscar Monkey Pediatric organization. And you're fortunate because you came in now, and we really just began a short while ago. All right. By the way, for everybody that may have a question for Emily, please use the arrow that's in the top right of your toolbar, all right, and type in your question, and I'll see it, and I will ask Emily your questions, okay? All right, going forward. So can you tell us about this Buddy Bash? I've been hearing about this Buddy Bash. You know that I wanted to come out to your location. I mean, obviously last year that didn't happen because of the major shutdown across the United States. But even for this year, I mean, it was a little sketchy, and I had issues, so I was not able to make it. So tell me about your Buddy Bash.
So we actually have two programs. The one that you were going to come to was our teen MS camp, but I'll get back to that. So our Buddy Bash is our family camp. When I was diagnosed, and when I met this other 16-year-old, I had this dream of connecting other pediatric MS patients and their families. I wanted to create some sort of gathering where they could meet, they could learn, they could connect. And so in 2018, we held our first Buddy Bash, which is a family camp. It's specifically for pediatric MS families. Our first year, we had 3 families in attendance. They were from Iowa, Louisiana, and and New York. And our second year in 2019, we had double the number of families. We had 6 families there. And then just this last year in 2020, February of 2020, so it was right before the world shut down, we had 13 families in attendance, and they came from all across the country. We really try to focus on recognizing that the entire family is involved in an MS diagnosis. It's not just the child that has MS, it's not just the parent, but it's also the siblings. And so we have some special activities set aside just for the siblings so that they feel recognized, they get to get the support, and they also get to experience that community as well.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so who can attend the Buddy Bash other than, I mean, I think that's what you just said, but can people bring friends?
We typically leave it for just pediatric MS families or the people who live with the pediatric MS patient. It's for anyone with a diagnosis if they are 25 and under. So we want to be able to support people through their college career, and usually that's into their mid-20s or so. So that's why we don't cap it at 18. But we do accept younger families as well. In fact, I think we're going to have a lot of younger families in 2022 based on the communications that we've had in the last few months or so.
Okay, great. Can you tell us about the activities that you do at Buddy Bash?
So they arrive on Friday, and then Saturday we do a lot of team building activities, getting to know the whole group. We do a disability awareness activity. So some of the activities in that might include putting on a pair of gloves and opening a tightly wrapped piece of candy. People with MS have trouble with dexterity and they can't really feel things, and so it's stimulating that. We also have an activity where we have some really blurry glasses and they have to read something in a book with these glasses on. Obviously showing visual impairment, but then we have some other activities that kind of stimulate different disabilities in a way that these kids can then take these activities back to their schools or back to the people in their community and better explain what they're experiencing. Right. We also have, we usually have a neurologist come in and answer different questions. We try to have a neurologist for the parents, one for the people who have MS, and then one for the siblings so that everyone has an opportunity to ask their questions.
Thank you. When you say stimulating, like that twisty thing, how do you feel that it stimulates the fingertips when the fingertips, for many, cannot be felt?
Not stimulating, I'm sorry, simulating. So it's mimicking what
Gotcha.
It's like to be able to feel your fingertips.
Gotcha.
Because you're wearing gloves.
Right. Okay, great. Thank you. I thought you said stimulate, but I'm okay. It's okay to hear stimulate. So a person just asked me, before I go on to my questions, somebody just asked me, are you or is Mr. Oscar Monkey part of the NMSS or are you independent?
We are an independent organization. We are separate from the NMSS.
Okay, thank you. And somebody named Jessica asked, what is one of your most inspiring stories from the camp?
So Jessica happens to be my sister, and she's feeding me this question. One of my favorite stories from our Buddy Bash is, I'll give you a fair warning, I might start to tear up because it is very powerful. Our second year of our Buddy Bash, we had this family coming, and their daughter, she was 17 years old. She was very newly diagnosed. She had just been diagnosed about 2 months ahead of camp. And she was angry. She was angry that she had this diagnosis. She didn't really understand it. It was scary. And so her family signed up to come to this camp. I should mention that we do not charge for people to attend our camps. We charge $25 a person for them to attend our camp. We do the rest of the fundraising. And so this girl, they're driving to the camp, and she's just sitting in the back seat. She's going, Mom and Dad, you found this camp run by a sock monkey. They're just going to be a bunch of axe murderers. What are you getting us into? Like she had this very negative look on what was this weekend going to be like. And by the next day, her dad came to me and said, I haven't seen my daughter smile since her diagnosis. and she was laughing. She was having fun with the other teens, and that was really powerful. Then this past year in 2020, that family came back. They loved our program. They came back, and there was another very newly diagnosed teenager, same age, and similar situation. Newly diagnosed, didn't really know what to expect, scared, kind of angry at the world. And the first girl looked at her and said, "We need to talk. I know what you're going through, and you're going to get through it. I'm going to help you."
Well, I'm sorry that this is hurting you to say, but you should be happy that she was happy. And
Oh, yeah.
You should be ecstatic. I mean, these should be happy tears, right?
Yeah, it was powerful. It really showed me that what we're doing is making a big difference.
That's fabulous. I love it when people come up to us at the end of our programs and they grab my arm and they say, "We don't want to let you leave. You brought in something that, we've never done before around here," or, especially when we're in rural America. So I know the feeling you're talking about. That's pretty awesome, though. Very, very awesome. I have another question. Somebody wrote in how you get sponsored for your programs to do these things.
Well, we have great partners such as MS Views and News, who sponsors our Teen MS Camp. Thank you so much for your sponsorship for our program.
You're very welcome. Very welcome. But I didn't make the question. Somebody else did.
Yeah, I know. Otherwise, our funding comes from private donations. We apply for a number of different grants, but a majority of it comes through private donations.
Great. Okay, that's fabulous. Thank you. All right. So next, can you tell? Let's talk a little bit about Teen Camp now. How did this evolve? Let's start with that. And did that come before family camp or after family camp?
So for our case, it came after family camp, but it actually evolved from, there was a Stony Brook Hospital put on a camp called Teen Adventure Camp, and they held it in Rhode Island for 15 years. Right. And I attended that camp for 5 years, 2 years as a camper and then 3 years as a counselor. And it was, I'm using this word a lot tonight, but it was very powerful to meet 30 other teenagers with MS, and we were coming from all over the country. And a couple of years ago, they were not able to hold their camp. And I was on this group chat, and all the teenagers saying, we still want to get together. Like, this is our week. We're a family. We need this chance to be together. And I said, well, I'll make it happen. And less than 2 months later, we held our first Teen MS camp. We had 20 campers. 16 campers and 5 counselors. Again, coming from all across the country. We had everywhere from New York to Florida, Colorado, Texas, Michigan, and we have this year, actually, our teen camp starts on Saturday. So we're very busy getting everything ready, getting all the materials ready, making sure our schedule is all solidified, and then, of course, making sure that the campers all get here safely. So we're very excited.
So how do you bring them in now, like during COVID, with this whole thing going on? Is there, do you have new guidelines for what you're doing?
Yeah, so a lot of our, I created a mitigation plan. It took a couple months to create this mitigation plan, everything from how frequent we're cleaning everything and what type of activities we're doing and how we're going to be able to social distance, and requiring that campers either quarantine for 14 days before coming to camp or get vaccinated. And it's very thorough. If you want to take a look at it, it's on our website, mroscarmonkey.org. But we're ready. It will be a lot of extra work this year for sure, but it'll still be a really great week. Okay,
thank you. A person online, Jill, wants to know, other than Teen Camp and Buddy Bash, what does Oscar Monkey do?
We have a number of different programs. One of the things that I'll just kind of go through the list. Every other week we hold a teen Zoom call. Our next one is actually tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central, and it's for those who are roughly 13 to 18 years old. It's very casual. It's a time for the teenagers to connect with each other, ask questions. We usually play some sort of game, and they will just continue to chat as long as I leave the call going. They love the connection. They love being able to reach out to each other. We also have a scholarship program, a college scholarship program. We had 4 recipients this year, which was exciting. And we have what we were first known as, and actually, Stuart, what you kind of met us through, was our buddies. These are Oscar's buddies.
Very cool.
When we first started with Oscar and carrying him around, people started asking if they could have Oscar. And I was like, no, he's mine. You can't have him. But of course, that was really selfish of me. And so I started making these smaller versions of Oscar. And we send these to kids around the world of all ages. We have kids as young as 87 who have received one of Oscar's buddies. They're all handmade. And usually my mom and I will sit down in front of the TV for a day, plug in a bunch of movies, and just make monkeys.
That's cool.
So, not the kids.
It's very cool. Where specifically is the teen camp again?
Our teen camp is held in River Falls, Wisconsin. But for those who are flying in, they would fly into the Minneapolis-St. Paul airport.
Okay. And how are children with MS, or first off, what age is it from and to?
Our teen camp is 13 to 18. So we have a couple of younger ones that want to come this year, but they're going to have to wait a little bit longer.
Sure, got that. But all right, so tell us how these 13 to 18-year-olds learn about your teen camp and your buddy bash. How are they learning about both? How are people and their families learning about these?
Most of it is through social media. That said, we have been getting the word out about our organization to different neurologists and different clinics around the country, in the hopes that they would then pass the information along to their patients. So I know that a lot of them came through Facebook. They found us on Facebook. That's our to recruit.
Okay, I didn't hear that. I'm sorry. What did you say?
A lot of our campers found us on Facebook, and that was our biggest recruiting tool.
Okay, great. I wish there was a way that we could help get more people there for this event that you're doing now, but I guess this one's a little late. When is your buddy bash? When is your next buddy bash?
Our buddy bash is in February of 2020. It is President's Day weekend. I apologize, I don't have my calendar right in front of me. I don't remember the exact dates, but President's Day weekend is the Friday to Monday of President's Day.
That would be your next one, is in 2022.
Yep, that's correct.
Okay, all right. I thought you said 2020, but I'm good with 2022. I can't find a way to go backwards and change what happened in 2020. It's yeah, we have to erase that year and start over again, right? All right.
Yeah.
So all right. So the what I want to ask about the teen camp, what are all the activities? Do you go canoeing? Do you do anything like that, or is it mainly like on land types of programs that you're doing?
We do a mix of adventure activities as well as education activities. So I can actually run through just a brief outline of our schedule for this coming week. They'll arrive on Saturday. Sunday, we have what we're doing, an amazing race in the morning, which will be a great team building activity. And then afternoon, we're doing some art. And then I'll skip ahead a little bit. Monday, we're going kayaking. So it will be very hot on Monday, but we will be in the water, which will make it MS friendly for all of our campers and for myself as well, as I have MS too. And then our education pieces really come in the, we'll be doing the disability awareness activity, as I explained, that we do at our Buddy Bash camp. And we also have our mentors lead discussions. So our mentors are past campers. They attended our camp before they graduated high school, and now they're coming back with real world experience. So whether that's being in a working position for the last year, or now they're in college and they have that experience to be able to answer questions that the campers might have about how to transition into the real world as someone living with MS.
Okay, thank you. Do you only have people with MS or children with MS at the camp, or is it open to people with other disabilities?
Right now, it's for people with multiple sclerosis or a similar diagnosis. I know we have some with NMO, we have some with MOG, but they're all kind of under the MS umbrella, so to speak.
Okay, yes, that's definitely a good umbrella for that. All right, so a couple of questions I have remaining. How are there, or what are the ways can kids get involved with your organization?
Other ways that kids can get involved in our organization, as I mentioned, we have our Zoom calls every other week. And we have Facebook groups. You can follow us on all of our social media. We also have a calendar, or I'm sorry, not a calendar, a map. I was thinking our birthday calendar. I send birthday cards to all of our kiddos. But we have a map that if people send me their name, address, and birth date, and I will put a point on my map. And if I find other people in their area, specifically pediatrics, if I find other pediatric patients in their area, I'll contact both of them and say, hey, I found someone in your area. Would you like me to connect you? And almost always they say, absolutely, we'd love to meet someone else so that we have this person to connect with. And that was one of my first initiatives with Oscar, was just a map on my bedroom wall.
That's true. That's true. I did hear about that too. So that's pretty cool. So maybe going forward, for the years coming, it would, might be nice that somebody contact the different larger MS organizations and let them know what it is that you have there. So that way they can get it out to their databases and hopefully come up with other kids that, can contact you as well.
Absolutely. We're always looking for more ways to reach more kids, and because we don't want any child to feel like they're fighting alone.
Right.
That's just
now, I know you told me about the Zoom calls and some of the other things. Do you have any in-person local events to like your area?
Yeah, so we started a couple of local events right as COVID was starting. So it was right before COVID, so kind of got pushed to the side. But we have what's called an evening with Oscar. And when we are traveling around to different locations around the country, we'll put together an evening with Oscar. And it's a very condensed version of our camp. It's a few hours for people in the MS community or people who want to be part of the MS community to come meet each other, learn a little bit about MS, specifically about pediatric MS. And again, I'm using this word a lot too, and just to be able to connect with each other and have that close community.
Okay, great. Did you ever try to pair up any of the pediatric patients with adults who want to volunteer as like mentors?
I haven't thought about that. I think that's a really great idea. One of the, I guess, a similar thing we do is our camp mentors that come to our teen camp. They're young adults, so they haven't been in the real world for a huge amount of time, but sort of, yes, to answer your question.
All right, that's good. Thank you. All right, and okay, 2 more questions. Where can people go to learn more about your organization?
We have a website. It's mroscarmonkey.org, mroscarmonkey.org. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Our Facebook is Oscar the MS Monkey. Our Instagram and Twitter and everything else is Mr. Oscar Monkey. And we will also be posting some live videos throughout the week for our camp week next week, as well as a camp recap, and that will be posted on YouTube.
That's what I was going to ask about that too. You helped me out with a lot of the questions here because you answered them before I even got to ask them.
I know the organization pretty well, I guess.
I guess you do. I guess you do. So that being said, is there anything that you want to just throw at us that I don't have as a question? What else do you want to tell us about what it is that you're doing, and what do you expect the outlook to be like in 5 years from now?
I actually forgot about one piece that we teach at our camp, and it is probably one of the most important pieces that we teach at all of our camps. Is we empower the patient with MS to be an active role in their healthcare decisions.
Right.
So we actually created a health journal, and it is a place for the teenagers or kids or young adults, whoever wants to use it, to keep track of all of their appointments, all of their who is in their healthcare team. We have what medications they're taking, but then we also have a place, it's a template for their appointments. So say you have an appointment on July 27th. So you write that in the template, and then you ask, these are my questions. And then below that, these are my parents' questions. So that way we're really empowering the teenager or the child to ask their questions first and not let mom and dad do all the talking, because eventually mom and dad won't be at all of your appointments, and you need to have those skills in your future to be able to ask the questions and talk to the doctor and be an active participant in your healthcare team.
That's great. That's great. Thank you for saying all that. But I do now have, you just made me figure out a few more questions, and I actually have a few more people now asking questions. All right. And that is, firstly, with the I was going to say students, but with the kids that are there, I shouldn't say kids either, because an 18-year-old is really not a kid, right? But with your people that are there, if any of them are taking a medication that's an injectable, how do they do that there? Do they have somebody to be with them? Does anybody get ill from what they're taking? So on and so forth.
We definitely we help teach them how to give them their injections if they aren't comfortable with it, or if they just don't have a lot of experience. We have some tips and tricks for them to learn how to give themselves their injections. But usually by the end of the week, they feel pretty confident in doing it themselves. Whereas usually mom and dad will do it before that.
Right. What is the majority? What is the I can't say the majority medication, but what is the most popular medication for a teenager with multiple sclerosis to be using?
Oh, it's so widespread right now. It's a little bit of a tricky question, because right now there's actually only one medication approved for pediatric use, and that's Ocrevus. I'm sorry, that's not Ocrevus, it's Gilenya. Gilenya is the one that's approved for pediatric use. Correct. And the other people they have to take it off label, which can cause some problems with insurance companies, and doctors aren't always comfortable prescribing MS medications to a young child. That said, to answer your question, I've seen kids taking pretty much all of the MS medications that are out there. We have kids on injections, we have kids on infusions, we have kids on the oral medications as well. So it's pretty wide variety. Gotcha.
Hey, you're lucky that there's so many medications out there now. And once these kids get to 20 and 20 plus, there's going to be that much more available for them, right? When I was diagnosed in the late 90s, there were 3 medications on the market. Okay, and that's it. So I didn't have much choice of what I was going to take. Injection, or injection,
Yeah,
right.
That's how my dad was too. My dad was diagnosed in 98, and there were, as you said, there were only 3 available. And so to think of how far research has come between the time he was diagnosed and when I was diagnosed in 2011, there were 15 medications available when I was diagnosed.
That's right. Hey, is there a pediatric registry for the MS, the pediatric MS? Let me re-say that. Is there a national registry for pediatric MS patients?
There is. We have one through Oscar. I know that the MS Society is always adding people to their registry, but I don't know of really any others other than us, the MS Society. And then there's another group called the Pediatric MS Alliance, and they are a group of parents who have a child with MS.
Right. They're down in Arizona, aren't they, or New Mexico?
Yeah, one of the leaders lives in Arizona.
Gotcha. Gotcha. All right. And then another question from a person that's a good donator. She would like to know how to donate to your organization.
Well, first of all, thank you so much. Donations can be made at paypal.me/Mr. Oscar Monkey, or if you go to our Facebook page or our website, there's a donate button on both of those locations as well.
Great, great, great. Well, thank you for that. Hey, thank you for your time tonight. Thank you for coming online. I'm sorry again that my video was just not working. But hey, it's as long as the sound is working, then it worked, right? It worked, exactly. So again, though, I want to thank you for being online with us tonight. And this it is being recorded, I hope, Bill, as long as he took care of it. And it'll be published onto our YouTube channel, hopefully within less than 2 weeks, because we have some major things going on this weekend, okay? So just let everybody know we have a wellness program happening on Saturday, all right? We have 4 different speakers at that program. As of 2 hours ago, we were over 550 people registered for this program. Exactly. There is reason to be on this program. So if you're not yet registered, you should be registered. And the program begins at 10 a.m. Eastern time with an integrative medicine doctor and or a doctor that does integrative medicine. And then we have a neurologist from Louisiana who will be speaking about MS 101. And then we have a person that does physical fitness and exercise therapy. He's from the MS Gym. He's the owner of the MS Gym. And then we have a sexologist that will be on. Oh, Emily, you shouldn't be listening to this, all right? But there will be a sexologist on there, okay? And that person's going to be speaking about all those things that children should not be listening to, about intimacy, okay, for the adults with MS, okay? All right, Emily's not a kid anymore, so I could still joke around with her about this. So, all right, her parents would beat me up if I didn't say these things. So, all right.
They're in the next room listening.
What's that?
They're in the next room listening.
They are. That's good. Stay there. Okay. All right, great. Anyway, I look forward to seeing you soon. I know you guys are going to be at CMSC. We'll be there as well. And again, good night to everybody, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Stuart. It was great talking with you.
Thank you.